And it paid off because in a few minutes, Tim Cook was tapping me on my shoulder and asking me how I'm doing. At that moment, I froze. Luckily, my muscle memory took a quick selfie and it was all good. Hi, my name is Christers. I'm a 26-year-old iOS developer and entrepreneur from Riga, Latvia. I've been interested in building apps and technology since I was a kid. It's been over 13 years since I've been designing and developing apps, founding startups, working with clients all over the world. And I had the opportunity for all of this because of the platform that Apple has created. And one of the annual events that Apple holds is the Worldwide Developers Conference, where they inform developers on the latest technologies that they're about to release and about the exciting changes coming the next year. And as soon as I learned about the scholarship that Apple offers to students, I knew I had to apply. And this is my story. Now let's start with the conference itself. WWDC, or Worldwide Developers Conference, is an annual event held by Apple for developers who create software for the Apple ecosystem. That includes the iOS, the tvOS, iPadOS, and watchOS. And not to forget, macOS. A lot of OSs. The conference typically takes place in June every year and holds a variety of technical sessions, labs, and keynotes, where attendees can learn the latest developments of the Apple platform. It also serves as a place for networking and meeting like-minded people. You also get a sneak peek of the technologies coming up, and that's one of the exciting parts. In addition to technical content, Apple also holds keynotes by their executives, where they release new products, announce new software officially, and other initiatives. Now, if you want to attend the conference, it's not going to be cheap. And also, money is not the only thing that plays a part here. The tickets are sold in a lottery, so even if you have the buck for it, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get it. The total costs are the following. The event ticket itself costs $1,600. Then there's a 1-week stay in San Jose, California, which depends on where you're staying at, but it could range from $1,000 to $1,500. Then there's travel and other expenses, ranging from $400 to $500. And there's a plane ticket, which depending on where you're at, could take you from anywhere to $500 to $2,000. Now as a student, you're likely not going to be able to afford this. And this is where Apple comes in with their scholarship program. For some reasons, they sponsor not only the ticket to the event itself, but also the plane ride, the hotel, and other expenses. That's about $5,000 you're saving right there if you get picked for the scholarship. This is a scholarship that Apple offers to students that are either enrolled in a STEM organization or a university. So if you are enrolled in a college or a school, chances are that you can apply for this scholarship. To apply, you need to develop an iOS app that the Apple team can experience in within 30 minutes. There are not a lot of requirements for this scholarship. First, this app should not be more than 20 megabytes. You have to be enrolled in a STEM organization or be in a university. You have to use Apple technologies to build this product. That means Xcode, MacBooks, and Apple products. And this app has to be something small that can be experienced within 3 minutes. Now, let's get to the exciting part. Let's see how I did it, and I might give you some pointers for your application next year. Now, I'll learn about the scholarship months before the deadline. So I thought that I have enough time to do this properly. But like with other things in life, I may or may not have procrastinated a bit too much. And I remember very, very vividly that it was the last night before the deadline, and I had only the idea in my mind. Yikes. So I got to work. I sat down, I laid out the idea that had been in my mind for a very long time. Plus it was also a project that I had kind of been working on. So I took the same one, put it in a different spin, and that was the result. At the time I was working with a relative of mine on a smart home application. We built the hardware and the app for it as well. And I used that as the base for my project that I wanted to showcase to Apple. See, I've been designing apps for a long time, so design is also my passion. So in this app, I wanted to showcase Apple, how I respect the human interface guidelines and create a nice and unique interface that is also accessible. So I took the design that I had been working on this app and I modified it, and I used that as the base for the app. The app wasn't connected to any hardware. Like I said previously, the app has to be a 3-minute app that the Apple review team can experience, so I used mock data there for things like temperatures and light controls. So after finishing the designs, I sat down, did the coding for it. A nice tip here is to use the latest technologies by Apple. At that time, they released something called the context menus, so I made sure to use those in a way that made sense, because that's something that they value, the fact that you use and explore their latest technologies. After the app came the essays, which was not an easy part as well, but I had the answers in my mind, so it was a matter of laying them out in a nice form. I don't remember the exact essay questions, and I don't have them stored anywhere, which is a shame, but I remember that they were along the lines of why do you want to attend, why you think you deserve it, and what's your past experience. In the essays, I mentioned how early I started working on iOS apps, what's been my journey so far, and the fact that I want to take anything I can learn from the conference and bring it back and expand that knowledge to people in Latvia. I remember like yesterday. I wake up, do my morning routine, go on my phone to check my emails, and I see this email from Apple, and already in the subject line it tells you got the scholarship. So I had no anxiety going through the email and looking for the answer. And I was beyond happy. I shared it with my family, with my friends, and some of my teachers at the university. I was very excited about this opportunity to attend the conference and learn from the best and meet like-minded people. Now, I'm from Latvia, and unfortunately Apple did not cover my travel expenses nor my hotels or any other expenses. They only covered the ticket, but that was enough for me to get the rest of the pieces together so I could travel there. Big thanks to my mom there for helping me assemble the plane tickets at the time. Now I want to remind you this is WWDC 2016, so it's 6 years ago. Attending the conference was an incredible experience. I got to see keynotes, I got to meet executives of Apple, I went to a lot of labs, I saw a lot of sessions, and I met a lot of really cool people. Now the other thing around this conference is that there's a lot of side events happening and people meeting up and discussing different topics. So you make a lot of friends. Now, one of the really cool things that's happened is for the scholarships, there was a side event hosted at a venue, and the main speaker there was Sam Altman, who is the CEO of Y Combinator. He's working on OpenAI and a lot of really cool things. And now we got to sit down there in an intimate space and do a public Q&A with him. That was an amazing experience. Now, when we got to the conference, we also got some swag. I got a WWDC Apple jacket, which I'm gonna show you later in the video. Actually, let me show you that jacket right now. Let's go look for it. There it is. The WWDC 16 jacket. Let's see if it still fits. Oh, it's a bit tight. 6 years have passed. I've been going to the gym. So overall, very high quality jacket. And I also got an Apple TV and this really cool badge. I had been to a lot of conferences before that, and I have been to a lot of conferences after that. And with confidence, I can say that this is the best one that I've been to. The level of organization, attention to detail, the labs, the people, everything is on point there. The days are packed with information and keynotes, but it's important not to get caught up in all of them because they are recorded and you can look at them afterwards. So a pro tip if you're going to the conferences, don't spend all of the time in the conferences, but go out and network, go to the labs and just enjoy your time there because you can always re-watch the keynotes. So don't spend all your time there. And that's exactly what I did as well. Another cool thing about being a scholarship recipient is you get this VIP treatment during the conference. For example, when the main keynote was about to kick off, there were people that were out there queuing up from the morning to get the best seats. While us, the scholarship recipients, we had a separate queue. And since there's only 300 of us, it's a much smaller queue than the main one. And another thing is we had a special event before the keynote kicked off. Now, when we got there, we had no idea what's about to happen. They had a very warm welcome for us and a keynote that already started to introduce some of the topics that we would be seeing throughout the week. Now, at the end of the keynote, we were all asked to gather outside for a group photo of the 300 scholarship recipient. So we went out and did the group photo, and then for a surprise for all of us, behind the photographer walked Tim Cook, and everyone just went nuts. People were going crazy because it's like seeing your favorite actor and pop star come to you in real life. You get very excited. People were instantly taking selfies with him, and I was pretty far away from Tim at the moment, and I knew that it would be hard to get to him through the crowd, so I had to be smart about this. So I looked where his bodyguards were guiding him and where the bodyguards were standing outside the group already waiting for him, and I aimed for that position. So I had to actually take a risk here. I went out with the crowd to go towards the end because I had better chances of meeting him there. So that's what I did. I took that gamble and it paid off because in a few minutes, Tim Cook was tapping me on my shoulder and asking me how I'm doing. At that moment, I froze. I was starstruck, but luckily my muscle memory took a quick selfie and it was all good. Now, it took a while for me to actually grasp what had happened, so only after a few minutes I realized that I just had this amazing experience of meeting one of my idols. Overall, attending the conference was an amazing experience I'm never gonna forget. I learned so much and I met so many talented and inspiring people. I'm grateful to Apple for the opportunity, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds for me as an iOS developer and an entrepreneur. Let me know if you've been watching the conference online or even attended it in person, or it's in your plans in the future. And don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. That's it for today.